Hello friends, how are you doing? Welcome back to Ash Books. I know it has been a really long time and I'm really sorry for not being on this channel for this long. The reason for this is that life happened and I had no bandwidth to record videos, to edit videos, to post them here. In fact, I did not even have the bandwidth to post anything on my Instagram channel, that is Pages to Heart. But now that I'm back, I really hope I'm back for good. But the good news is, even during this tough time, I have been reading a lot, and that is why I managed to finish my reading goal of reading 50 books in 2023, 2 months ahead of time. That means, yes, I have read a lot and I have a lot to share with you guys as well. But this video, I would like to keep it very short by just talking about the books that I'm currently reading. And we are already into the month of November. And as you might know, that November is considered as a perfect month to read non-fiction. I think it's even called non-fiction November. And keeping true to that theme of reading non-fiction books, I have been reading a lot of non-fiction books. In fact, among the books that I'm reading currently, there's only one fiction book. Rest all of the books are non-fiction. So if you are a non-fiction reader or if you love reading non-fiction books, then I'm sure you're here for a treat. So without much ado, let's get started with what I'm reading currently. First book that I'm reading is this, The Bells of Old Tokyo by Anna Sherman, Travels in Japanese Time. This is a travelogue and I have just started reading it, so I'm not like that far into this book, but so far whatever I have read, I'm really enjoying it. If I had to describe this book in one word, it will be exquisite. The writing is exquisite, and the author, she is not Japanese, but she's just moved to Japan, and she's trying to understand the culture, and she wants to dig into their history and to find out more about the city, because cities, as you know, they are full of wonderful tales. So if you read this book, you will definitely want to pack your bags and go to Tokyo, and I think that's the best compliment you can give to any book in the travel genre. So I'm really excited to read this book, and maybe I'll come back to you once I'm done reading this book. The next book that I'm reading, and by keeping my promise of reading really diverse books, this is the book that I'm reading. This is called Intimacy Undone, Marriage, Divorce and Family Law in India by Malvika Rajkotia. Now this book talks about, obviously from the title about marriage and divorce and family law in India, but it also goes back in time and talks about history, like how these laws were made. Also talks about how colonial time inspired some of these laws and how heavily they are still rooted into those times. And it's very interesting. There are some interesting case studies, and you get to know a lot about about the laws and also about the state of women's rights if you're interested in that subject. My only problem with this book is the author tends to digress a lot. Now the core theme of the book is about the laws that are there in our country, but she has really strong opinions about feminism in India, about women's rights, and sometimes I feel that she does digress a lot and then comes back to the main subject or the main topic that we are in to know about. So yeah, that's my only complaint with this book, but it's interesting, and I am almost halfway through this book and planning to finish it soon. The next book that I'm reading is this, The Joy of Living by Yongey Mingyur Rinpoche. Now Buddhist philosophy or Buddhist teachings have inspired me a lot, because I think they really tell you the way to lead your life when you're going through difficulties, or otherwise also like how to live your life in a more fulfilling way. So that is why I picked up this book when I had the opportunity to go to visit a meditation center, and in the bookshop of that meditation center I saw this book, and my friend who was with me at that time told me that this author is quite well known, and that is why I picked this book up. It has a very unique combination of science and Buddhism in the first part of the book, and the second part of the book talks about the actual application of what you have learned or read in the first part of the book. So yeah, This book is really inspiring me and changing my perspectives about a lot of things. And the last book, the last non-fiction book that I'm currently reading is this. It's a very, very interesting book. It's called At the Existentialist Cafe, Freedom, Being and Apricot Cocktails by Sarah Bakewell. Now, philosophy is something that I have never studied, but as a subject it has always interested me. So when I got to know about this book, I really thought to give it a try, because this talks about existentialism as a philosophy and mainly focuses on the lives of Jean-Paul Sartre and Simone de Beauvoir, because they have done extensive work on this philosophy of existentialism. And it also talks about many renowned philosophers. So I think if you're someone like me who has not much knowledge about philosophy but are interested in this subject, then you should definitely try reading this book, because I think it's a good introduction. And it's very interesting because it's like a narrative non-fiction. So the way the author has written this book is quite intriguing, and I'm really enjoying my time with this book. And the last book that I'm reading is obviously a fiction book, and it is this, The Hitchhiker's Guide to Galaxy by Douglas Adams. And it's a classic. For anyone who is into science fiction, I'm sure you must have already read and loved this book. And I'm somebody who is not much into science fiction. In fact, I used to get scared to read science fiction, but I realized that as a reader, you need to explore different kind of genres and then really decide for yourself like what really sticks with you and what does not. So I genuinely decided to give this book a try, and oh boy, I'm not regretting it at all. This book is funny, it's interesting, and I'm just loving it. And you know, the best part about this book is that it was written in 1970s, and when I'm reading this book now in 2023, I realized that this book is way ahead of its time. Like, to give you two examples, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is actually a book within a book. So, and it's an electronic book. So I think the author, what the author has described then kind of resembles to what we have today in form of the Kindle or an iPad. And then there is also a mention of computer voice assistant in the book, which I think is today's Alexa or Siri. So wow, it's so interesting, and really I'm enjoying this book. And I think after this I might want to read, I think it's a trilogy if I'm not wrong, and might want to read the other two books also in this trilogy. So yeah, these are all the books that I have been reading, and as you know from the list that yes, there are actually quite a few books that I am currently reading, but all of them are really interesting and I am loving my time with those books. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it, and if you liked some of the books that I'm reading, or if you have already read them, then please do comment and let me know. And yes, of course, if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, then please do that also. And I promise you that from now I'll be more regular and I'll come up with really interesting bookish content for all of you. So once again, thank you so much, and sorry for not being here for really long time, and thanks guys for staying with me. Bye.